right behind Wally.
Zach, Mariano Rivera rode one pitch to the Hall of Fame, essentially, his cutter. You obviously have that power sinker. Mariano used to talk about some of the reactions he would get from hitters. I'm curious if you could share with us maybe the greatest compliment an opposing hitter has ever paid to you about your sinker.
There's been a couple. I think a guy that I had faced a lot in my career was David Ortiz, and the year that he was retiring, he pulled me to the side one time in Fenway. And he kind of just described, like, your ball starts here and then it's gone. And that was probably the best compliment I've gotten from a guy like him.
Who else? Go ahead, to the right.
Zach, I'm just wondering, as the rumors are playing out online, how much are you following it, and at what point did it become apparent that you start to think you were coming to the Yankees?
To be honest, maybe I followed him pretty early on. And then, a couple of weeks later, I just stopped following because it was a new team every week, every day. Not until we had a rain delay in Baltimore, and my phone had a bunch of missed calls and texts. That's when I kind of started peeking around to see what team it was going to be. I was really excited to see the Yankees attached and obviously to get the deal done and be here now.
Over to the left, John.
Zach, obviously, just over the course of your career, how have you seen the different bullpen roles kind of evolve into where you are now, coming from a closer position to now just part of this new system of having just locking in as many arms as you can?
Yeah, it's it makes sense if you really think about it. But when I was in Baltimore and we acquired Andrew Miller, who was here, he really kind of opened up some guys' eyes to how dominant a reliever could be in certain situations, extended periods of time. So the game was always, I think, leaning that way. And to assemble a bullpen like this, I think it allows you to shorten games and get guys in games quicker if a starter's struggling. Obviously, the goal is still to get a starter to go as deep as possible. They're starters for a reason, I'm a failed starter. But I think if you can get a lot of closers down there, guys that have that experience in high leverage situations, it just makes you better going forward.
All the way to your right, Zach.
Zach, you and your brother have a big fan base in this town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you walk everybody through your Dominican bloodline, the ties?
Yeah. I talked to my mom this morning about that. I had to get the lowdown a little bit, but my mom's Dominican, and I know I don't look like it, but Anglada is the name of the Dominican, and they're all Yankee fans, and they're about as excited as me to be here. So, my mother, her last name is Maia. That's her maiden name, but my grandmother is Anglada, and I'm Dominican. I don't speak Spanish, but that's an interesting story.
To the right, Justin, against the wall.
Zach, just what was it like walking into the clubhouse today, being greeted by a lot of these guys that you've been competing against the last several years?
It was a little weird. I'm going to be honest. I was with the Orioles for 12 years. So coming into a new clubhouse where you're the new guy, it's like the first day of school. You're not sure, where you go or what you should do. And but these guys have been really welcoming. I knew quite a bit of them from some All-Star games. That makes it a little bit easier to break the ice. But it just seems like it's going to be a great team. And I think Aaron Boone really kicked it off a little bit. I mean, great personality. He came and made me feel comfortable, the second I came into the clubhouse, and Brian Cashman as well.
Brendan, to the right again.
You've been back for about a month now. Where are you at in terms of your recovery, where your stuff is, where your arm is? How do you feel?
I feel good. The more innings I get, the better I've been feeling. I'm about 8 months removed from Achilles surgery. And, the strength was kind of an issue coming back. I lost a lot of weight after the surgery, a lot of strength. And as I've put on that weight, a lot of the strength has come back, velocity is coming back, and I'm starting to feel more like myself. So, my mindset here is I am who I am. Hopefully I'll get better, and I think I will. Just I've seen signs this last month, and go out there and just pitch, the way I'm capable of pitching.
Couple more if there are any. Anyone else? Jack, Christy.
Zach, regardless of a player's resume, no matter how glossy it is, sometimes you hear them say when you get to a new place, you almost feel as if you have to prove yourself to the guys in that room and in that dugout. Do you feel that way, and or how do you guard against that, preventing you from being, as you said, who you are?
I think the best thing about coming here is I've pitched here before, and I think I've said this a few times today. I don't know if it's any harder to pitch here as a home player than it is a visitor. I mean, this is a pretty tough place to come in as a visiting player and perform. And I've always enjoyed coming here. So I don't think that transition is going to be, hard, but definitely you want to make a good first impression. And you want to come here and this team's winning, and you don't want to be a hindrance to that. I want to go out there and help this team get a little further than they are now and catch the Boston Red Sox.
I'm just wondering what it's been like, how you found out about the trade from that point to getting here to this point. What has it been like for you?
It was, we had the rain delay and nothing was official yet. So I had to go back out to the bullpen in Baltimore and sit there and just think about what was going on. And there was actually a save situation against the Red Sox, and my name didn't get called. And that's when I knew something was probably going to happen. And when I got back in, I spoke with Dan Duquette and Buck Showalter, and they let me know what was going on. And then about 5 minutes later, Brian Cashman called me and welcomed me to the Yankees.
Okay, anyone else? Dave, take one more.
Zach, you mentioned coming here. I mean, you're familiar with the Yankees to some degree. Is staying in the division better for you, you think, now that even though you're with a new team, just because you know a lot of the people you're going to be facing, you have a lot of familiarity with these teams and these players?
Absolutely. I think so. I think, somebody outside the division that comes in here and has to come into a high leverage situation in Fenway, I think it's going to be tough for them. I've done it. All the stadiums, Toronto, Tampa, wherever it is, face these guys a lot, have a lot of track record against them. So I think the baseball aspect of coming here is going to be the easiest part. I think it's just getting acclimated to being in New York and being with the Yankees.
Okay, Zach, thank you for the
Yeah,
time.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Aaron Boone at 4:15.